Okay, guys, well, I want to thank you guys again for working hard for me. This is, again, really due to Javier. He's still struggling with factoring high degree polynomials. And if you haven't figured out yet, guys, Mr. Khan, again, mixes in easier problems. But one of the first couple is going to be the hardest problem you're going to have to do in that little section. Okay? So you have to learn to struggle and fight through those harder problems. But anyways, check this one out. I've done it before, but let's do it again. So guys, what they want you to do is factor this mess completely. So we're going to do it in parts. This right here, hopefully you realize, is a GCF. Both of those can divide by 3, and x squared and x divide by x. So I'm going to do a 3x GCF here. So x times 3x is 3x squared. That, I believe, is a minus. Sorry, my picture's a little faded there. And 4x, oops, don't need the x. All I need is a 4. Does everyone agree? Minus 4 times 3x would be minus 12x. So that's completely done. Now let's look at the second parentheses there. That one you should recognize as an x problem. So I need a 1 as my product. That, again, I believe is a minus 2. And we know 1 times 1 is 1, but we need a negative 2. So we're going to do negative 1, because together those make negative 2, right? And, of course, times together they make positive 1 still. So we're basically done, guys. Our answer is 3x, parentheses, x minus 4. That's what this was, right? And then we just combine it with this. X minus 1 times x minus 1. And we have it completely factored. All right, let's try another one. This time I see only 1, 2, 3 pieces, guys. So first thing I notice is look at the higher powers, right? I'm going to do a GCF. Now, let's look at the numbers first. Do you agree? 5 and 20 divide by 5. Now let's do the x's. x4, x3, x2. All of them have an x2 in them. So 5x squared is my GCF. Let's finish it up. X squared times 5x squared is 5x4. We have a minus there. 4x times 5x squared is 20x3. We have a plus there. 4 times 5x squared is 20x squared. Now, guys, sometimes we're done, but look at that right there. I can do an x on that. We need a 4 for our product, a minus 4 for our sum. 2 times 2 is 4. To get the negative 4, though, we want negative 2, negative 2. And, of course, negative times negative is a positive. So our final answer, guys, is going to be, that's what you're going to type in there, is 5x squared, parentheses. This, we know, is x minus 2 times another x minus 2. This is what you have to type in. And you get this one right. So notice, guys, this one had a GCF and an x in it. This one we did first. We did a GCF here. We did an x here separately. Okay? All right, let's try another one. Holy crap. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. You know what that means, guys? I'm going to do factor by grouping. So I'm going to group up the first 2. I'm going to group up with the last 2. Now we're going to GCF each of our little groups. So in our first group here, I notice the only thing I can GCF is an x2. Let's finish it up. X times x2 is x3. I see a plus. 7 times x2 is 7x squared. That's done. Now let's do our second group. Now, guys, whenever there's a minus here, and even, especially when there's another minus there, but most importantly, whenever there's a minus there, guys, factor it out. So I'm going to factor out a minus, and if you look at the numbers, I'm going to factor out a 5. Let's finish it up here. X times minus 5 is minus 5x. Got that right. We see a minus there, but we already have the minus here, see? So I'm going to do 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. Now, if you look carefully, guys, look what we have here. We have common factors there, right? Let's pull them out. So what you're going to type in up here, guys, is x plus 7. Because when I take out the x plus 7 here, what am I left with? X squared. Type in x squared, parentheses x squared. When I factor out the x plus 7 there, what am I left with? Minus 5. There's our answer. All right, let's try one more. Look right here, guys. Do you recognize that as a difference of 2 squares, I hope? That right there is an x squared. That right there is a 2 squared. So I'm going to factor that. I'm going to do x plus 2 times x minus 2. Again, you also could have done x minus 2, x plus 2. It's commutative property after all. You pick. Now look what I have here, guys. That hopefully you recognize is an x. I need a product of 9 with a sum of 6 in the middle. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. Done. So our answer, and this is what you're going to type in up here, guys, is this times that times x plus 3 times x plus 3. And of course, if you did the minus first plus second, again, you would just put in x plus 3 after that, and you'd have that one factored completely as well. Look at that. I got a 4 out of 4. Man, I must be smart. Okay, so guys, what have you learned? You better know your difference of squares. You better know how to do x factoring. You better know grouping. You better know your GCF. And of course, along with GCF, sometimes you do the x method. X factoring as well. And that's how these are done, guys. They're harder than what I normally give you in class, yes. But remember, you're preparing for next year. Not just working on a grade for me this year. You're preparing for next year. Practice it. Try this like Raphael did, guys, multiple times until you get a decent score on it. Preferably 100%. See you around.